Welcome, everyone, to the Salt Lake Expositor, where we feature Randy Watts of the powerful post-Mormon project and Jessica Frenkel of the Jessica Frenkel Facebook show.
The commenter.
That's right.
The content queen, as we call it.
And Gene Judson of the Latter-day Least podcast.
Well, as you can see, Gene and Jessica, our pride colors are showing now. We go from the least enthusiastic about it to Gene to the most enthusiastic about it. I got my shirt, my glasses, my hat, because this is what I would have worn to Pride today had I been able to walk on my feet, but I couldn't go because I can't.
No, you literally can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and someday I will do a Pride event, but I've only just acted prideful on Facebook so far.
Would you take Michelle, or is there a partner or lover you would take in her place?
I take all three. Michelle, a partner, and a lover.
There you go.
And say you got two on the side, get backstage waiting.
Yeah. And so anyway, yes, polygamy, apology, and a Sunday frenzy to come. What we'll be talking about. But first of all, Randy, tell us more about your health condition.
You know, about a long time ago, it was about probably 25 years ago. I was clean. We had no money, and I was doing anything I could, cleaning office buildings and stuff, just to, make a little income for my family, aside from my full-time job. So anyway, this real estate company hired me to do their windows, and the top window was 3 stories. It was a 2-story building with a double story up top. So I had to get really high on this big extension ladder I had. And I had my wife at the time holding her foot on the ladder so that it wouldn't go anywhere. And I'm up there trying to clean these windows. And my damn roll of paper towels fell. And I needed those. So she says, "Do you want me to get them?" And I'm kind of feel the ladder. I'm like, "Yeah, just grab them and then get back and foot my ladder." The minute she took her foot off the ladder, it just came down, and both of my feet fell through the ladder as we're falling. And then my feet hit, then the ladder hits, and my weight goes on top of the ladder and busted up my feet really bad. So it was a long time in recovery. Anyway, that was all, that was all good and well. I recovered, but the problem is now I have these attacks sometimes where the arthritis that's formed in there because of that original accident starts at hurting. Well, 1 week ago, I got on a ladder to clean out gutters at one of our properties. And I was up there for 2.5 hours, just standing on that ladder. Didn't realize anything was going wrong until the next day when I tried to walk. I couldn't even begin. I couldn't begin to put any pressure on my feet. I was just screaming. I held my pillow and was screaming into him because I really effed him up this time with that being on the ladder all that time. And now I know. Now I won't get on any more ladders. But yeah, so it's been a week, and I'm finally able to put a tiny bit of pressure on one of my feet. So with crutches. And here's a little point, just a public service announcement to all of our listeners and you guys. Crutches work great unless both feet are injured. When both feet are messed up, the crutches don't do anything.
No.
You've got to put your weight on one or the other, unless you're a tripod and have that third leg. But I was not blessed with that.
I thought all men are tripods.
I know, yeah, but some can support their weight and some can't.
Just depends on your endowment.
Yeah, I'm not endowed enough to use that third leg to hop around the house.
That was my favorite thing to tell non-Mormons. Find out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so this is my pride outfit. This is what I was going to wear, and with my matching pride cup. And
Nice.
I'll just have my own little celebration here. I showed you a picture of our house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Last
it's
time.
all decked out for pride. So
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
Jessica,
letting my proud people go.
yeah.
Nice.
How have you been doing, Jessica?
It was a bittersweet week. The Spurs lost in the finals, and that was really rough. I mean, the Knicks deserve it. We played shit. It's just what it is, but it's painful. It was traumatic every single time we played literally shit, lost by 1 or 2 points.
Were you praying that Trump would attend all the remaining games
No.
after the Spurs
I
got
think he
one
was
victory?
booed in New York, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
He got what he
Yes. So that was
deserved.
good enough for me too. But
Yes.
But
today,
hear
That's the
him,
bittersweet part. But anyway, so here's another. But you got a sweet part today?
yes, today Germany played a World Cup and we won 6 versus 1. So that's a big number. And so I supported German gay guy, Karl Lagerfeld. He's a German designer. So here we go. I go a little bit with you guys.
My understanding is the USA won 4-1.
Yeah. Yes.
And that was the most goals they've ever scored in a World Cup game before.
Yeah, I think so. And they're really stronger. They are stronger every year. They're a respectable soccer team now.
Well, this program today, we're going to shoot for 5 goals. So people in the chat can keep track of that.
Yeah.
Every time we score, mark it down.
but you need to do it in Spanish, or it doesn't sound nearly as,
Well, yeah, it's definitely very flamboyant when they're.
Or we should count the bullshit meter, how often we have to use it.
Right?
Is it smelly?
Jessica, what would a German announcer say when the Germany scores?
Tor!
Does that mean goal?
Yep, pretty much. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, how about you, Gene?
For me, things have been going okay. This is my birth month, as well as Randy's birth month.
Hey, twinsies.
So I'm getting out of town.
Nice. Where are you going?
Well, I'm hoping to visit my daughter in Arizona, where we have had a tradition pre-COVID where I would go visit, and then we would go explore the birthday venues where you get a buy one, get one.
Yeah.
And so
Nice.
we would share the cost and the food of the day and bring home lots of leftovers for other
That's a
people
good
or
one.
for us the next day. Michelle didn't join me in the 2010s because she thought it was too much of a gluttonous thing for a wonderful Mormon woman that she was. She didn't appreciate the gluttony. And it will be hotter in Arizona.
Yeah.
There's too many people that are not appreciating the gluttony that needs to happen on your birthday.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a cheat month.
What's the opposite of gluttony?
Frugality?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
That was a pretty quick answer.
Yeah.
That was really
I'm impressed.
impressive.
I am impressed. So repent, everyone, of your frugality and join the true gospel of gluttony.
Stop with the frugal stuff. Come on. Stop. You got to get
Live now.
It's like,
knowledge.
I think it was said most appropriately in the scriptures somewhere. Was it not live long and prosper? That's the Vulcan scriptures. But what is it where they say, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you may die?
Exactly. And so far as I'm aware, I only know of one life, so make it count.
That's right. Let's say eat, drink, and be merry so that you have a good day.
Yeah. And then do it over tomorrow.
Do it over tomorrow.
Yep.
Always keep improving.
Yes.
Well, and those are 3 of my favorite things, Jane, to do actually, is to eat, to drink, and to be merry.
Yes.
There you go. So yes, polygamy tops the storyline today, the headlines, not because any of us have joined one of the fundamentalist organizations,
I'm
or
a
that
polygamist now. Those are my two husbands.
or that polygamy is sort of on in the Mormon news. The only thing that's Mormon newsy about it is Michelle Brady Stone, who has had a very successful podcast called 132 Problems. I interviewed her about 2 years ago, and the thumbnail said 132 Problems with Michelle Brady Stone. And she said, "Hey, that sounds like I have 132 problems, and you're going to talk about them. Why don't you change it?" So I think I did a comma or something like that.
How many problems did you have with Michelle Stone, Gene? You can be honest.
So I have absolutely no problems with Michelle Brady Stone. I think she's a wonderful human being, and she is an amazing mother, and she probably could beat me in basketball. That's what I'll say.
Didn't she even play in high school?
Yeah, she played in high school.
Yeah.
So she is very close to my height in basketball. I had kind of, before I got married to a 5'2" EBM woman in my neighborhood, I had a goal of marrying someone who could beat me in basketball. And it wasn't until I met Michelle Brady Stone that I found somebody who would beat me and could marry me in the temple at the same time. But anyhow,
there you go.
Yeah. So she made an announcement that's saying she's back. So we will listen to her announcement for a little bit right here.
It has been a while. Hello, everybody. I wanted to jump on and give you guys a quick update and let you know some of my plans and some of what to expect. So first things first, I am moving on. I will be starting my academic program in the near future. I have my housing ready to go, and I am moving. So in that process, since I am no longer in the same situation I have been, I have decided I am going to go ahead and put several of my episodes back up. I am in the process of doing that. I need to explain what my podcast has been for people who maybe haven't been familiar with it or may have questions. So I started this podcast originally, I believe, in February of 2022, and I did it for a little over 3 years, at which point I was, shall I say, invited? I was invited to take it all down, and that was hard and did not make me happy, and I am so happy to be moving on. Yay! So I'm happy to be out of this situation. It has been very, very difficult to endure. So anyway, what I wanted to explain is that what my podcast was to a large part my process of discovery. Many of you who watch my podcast will know that I was raised believing and being explicitly taught that polygamy was something we could look forward to as the law of Zion and the law of the celestial kingdom. My grandmother was raised in a polygamous family. She was the oldest daughter of a polygamous family, and I was raised on all of the beautiful stories of polygamy and thought it was some beautiful thing that someday we will have the privilege of living so that we can live celestial law. Boy, has my view changed. I started my journey studying the scriptures, and that is what I started my podcast to share. I spent almost a decade studying this topic in the scriptures and engaging with the very best arguments from the other side, the very best arguments from current fundamentalists and from our polygamous past. And the more I studied, the more convinced I became that the scriptures universally, strongly teach against polygamy. They condemn polygamy as an abomination. The Book of Mormon is the very most explicit document or book of scripture in opposition to polygamy, followed closely by the Doctrine and Covenants. And then my discovery continued on. So I'm sure many of you have heard me say those things, but that's what I started my podcast to share. I really did not want to get into the topic of Joseph Smith. And so it wasn't until a year into my podcast that I finally started talking about Joseph Smith. And wow, it's amazing to me that we are so much more committed to the Joseph Smith narrative than even we are to the polygamy narrative. You'll hear my dog in the background. But anyway, that really set things on a new trajectory that have ended up with me pursuing this academic direction and really turning my entire family's life upside down to go and get the real training that I hope will help me be able to understand this in better ways, explain it in better ways, see what I might be missing, and be able to share the research that I think needs to be done, do the research that I think needs to be done. I'm really excited about it, and I feel really good about it. I think that that's part of the reason that I felt led in the directions that I've been led. But the other thing I want to say, though, is that this podcast really has been my journey of historical discovery. And I know I say this often in the podcast, and I need to reiterate it here. Please do not take the things I said in the podcast as gospel truth anywhere. Please take it as an invitation to begin your own research. Especially, I know there were times in different episodes that I might have said things like, there is no other source, or this is all there is, or whatever it might have been. And I learned, I never should have said that. I learned during the podcast. I think it's in some of my earlier episodes, but I think all throughout, there are probably things that I would say differently, definitely some ways that I would engage differently, and some conclusions maybe have changed. I don't have time to go through each episode and see what I still agree with. I think the vast majority of it, I hopefully still agree with, but I know that there are some things that I would likely change. I really think it has done exactly what it should have done and moved the conversation forward. And I think that that is valuable and worth coming back. I have talked to different people a lot of people have had a lot of advice throughout this entire journey. But I have spoken to people who I really admire, who are in positions that I respect, who have said that they think the podcast is very valuable and that it should come back. So with that being said, I am going to start re-releasing episodes as I can. I can't release them all at once. It's just too much work to do all at once with everything else I'm trying to do, and especially with school. I likely will not be making a lot of new content on this channel because I will be so busy in my graduate work. However, keep your eyes out because I have some exciting things planned, and there will definitely be more content coming that I'm terribly excited about. So I'll jump back on when I know a little bit more about that. Maybe I'll be around a bit once in a while. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, with all of that being said, I am very happy to be able to let some of you know that the podcast will be coming back. Please go ahead and make comments and let me know which episodes you would like me to bring back next. If you have any that you remember, I'm just going to start releasing some here and there. I know I say throughout the podcast, listen to these in order. That's all out the window at this point, right? We're just re-releasing old videos, and I hope that that some of you will find it beneficial, and then I will go on and do further work in the future. So thank you all. I really appreciate those who listened to my podcast in the past, and I'm happy to introduce it to a new audience going forward. I'll talk to you all soon.
Yay. So there you go. I feel that was completely anticlimactic because she didn't explain what happened. Everyone's like, oh, let's find out what's going on now.
She's kind of still hiding.
She's accepted the fact that she's going to get X'd and she's celebrating that, or she's accepted the fact that if she doesn't say what the brethren want her to say, she's X'd. So she's going to go all out and rebrand her way of thinking.
To me, it sounded, because she was so careful still how she worded it, right? Because she was not saying out loud now, hey, I'm out. I can say what I want now because I found my own voice and authority. She's still saying, let's say invited. Why did she not say she was threatened? She was threatened by her church leaders. If she don't take it down, she will be excommunicated. And I harshly think that's awful. Nobody should do this. She can say whatever she wants, right? But she played along.
Jessica, it's a good thing, Jessica, that you speak Mormon and Gentile, so you can translate the two.
Yeah. That's what I would take from her, right? So she was still not admitting to anything. It sounded like she literally moved and is playing the Mormon roulette. So it sounds like she has a new bishop or stake president who might not have a problem or is not aware of her doings or is even supporting it.
Maybe the ward boundaries were changed because the church is growing so fast. They've been shrinking a number of wards in at least California.
But she did literally said she moved, right?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah. So that's.
She said she was very happy about this move. So I don't.
Oh, maybe it's not.
Yeah, it could just be the direction she's headed in life, where she wants to be authentic with herself, maybe.
Could be.
I hope that for her, but it still felt hiding, not really coming out what it is, why now it's okay to, have those podcasts up or whatnot. And to me, it was interesting how she built I was totally fine with polygamy. I grew up by, grandma, mother, whatever, was a polygamist, and it was beautiful. And I was looking forward to it. I'm I'm not saying they're not out there, but I don't know any active Mormon woman who ever was fine with polygamy and was looking forward to live it. And then she just learned that Joseph Smith didn't live it. I only know the opposite. Women kind of knew it, but we always learned Joseph Smith wasn't living it. Then the church came out. And then since then, women are only struggling. I mean, that's, what's that? Carol Pearson, right? That's what her book is about. The pain of Mormon active women living with the idea of eternal polygamy. And she made it look like, oh, it was so, oh, I was looking forward to living polygamy. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You know what I thought about, or what I think about the whole polygamy debacle is I don't give a rat's ass. I don't care. I don't care if Joseph was a polygamist or wasn't. It's not worth my time because it affects me in 0 ways. And I say these things humbly in the name of Jessica. Amen.
I mean, I think for me,
except where you have true believing relatives or friends that still believe
What's
in
that?
it. Except for where you have true believing friends and relatives that are still thinking that maybe God wanted Joseph to make the mistake or whatever, that somehow God approved of it in some form or fashion instead of allowing people to think for themselves.
Yeah, but all my TBM loved ones are wrong about everything else too. So,
yeah.
Except for that the sun's going to come up tomorrow.
well,
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that because I
That's
had
your
talked to
bottom
somebody. I talked to somebody who went from Mormon to Christian, right? I was like, that's okay. You know, bounce around, whatever. But I was thinking, you know, a cult is just something, it's a group of people with similar beliefs. And that's the way anthropology talks about. When they talk about cults, they just talk about a group of people doing their thing in a certain area or in a certain belief system or whatever. And then we get culture from those activities that are spread to other people, because we wouldn't, unless it was spread, we wouldn't know what anybody else's culture was, right? And so, but their culture is different than our culture, let's say, right? The us versus them. But no matter what, we all believe the sun's going to come up tomorrow. No matter what, we think the springtime is the best time to plant for our crops.
Well, that depends which country you live in.
So I'm saying, you know, well, springtime is spring everywhere, wherever you are. I mean, but there's different, there's fall crops, there's whatever. I mean, you know, but anyhow, there are certain things that we would say are like universal truth that everybody sort of believes, and the culture or the cult creates beliefs that are only within that group. And so,
but that's the fascinating thing about her, I feel, is because she's not really following that narrative, right? Because I thought it was interesting how she wants to make the point, which I agree, right? All Christianity thinks polygamy is bad, right? Like this has nothing to do with Christianity. That's just the Mormons. And even the Book of Mormon, to be fair to her point, does not speak for polygamy. But that she brought Doctrine and Covenant in, I'm like, heck, have you read 132? How is that against polygamy? So I wonder just how she, or I would be curious if I would ever meet her, how she makes it happen to stay Mormon. Because even theoretically, if we stick with, okay, Joseph Smith didn't live polygamy, which I think half of Mormonism wouldn't agree anymore. Why are you Mormon?
right. And so first of all, section 132 wasn't scripture until the late 1800s when Tim Rathbun was just a little boy. And it wasn't even announced until 1853 when the saints in Utah decided to practice polygamy openly, right? And so part of her claim is that it was this cabal of polygamists that went to Utah and they somehow crafted it and said it was Joseph. It's almost like if they were creating their own.
Sure, but even then, how are you Mormon? Again, my question would be, why are you a Brighamite? Then
right.
you say,
I'm explaining part of what you said. Is
it went
like,
to shits.
how can you say the things that she's saying? And part of it is that there's so little known about Nauvoo polygamy.
No. I was not saying how could she say it. I was asking, well, how is she then Mormon? If she feels this is all wrong and somebody added to it, I would think that I don't want to be a Brighamite because that church went to shits.
Yeah, it can't be the truth.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I don't mind whatever her reasoning is, but then I would come to the conclusion the Brighamites can't be it.
No matter what, she's creating a cult within a cult.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so
which I guess that's why they're fearful of her, right? And on top, she's a woman. In Mormonism, I mean, if she likes it or not, she have literally no authority. If she thinks she found something, they would shut her up. If the 12 be aware of her, there's no place for her to say Doctrine and Covenants 132 was like a late edition or whatever was changed. They would tell her, no, you're wrong, and you shut up. You have no place to say that. And so it's interesting. I love that she found a voice as a woman, but again, as a Mormon woman, they're not appreciate that.
Yeah, I
for sure
concur.
So I feel sad for her that she is still trying to find her place. At least it sounds like it in that society or in that religion where I feel like they don't want her. They don't want her opinion. They don't agree with her opinions. So that's just where I'm like, wow, she's still fighting and trying to find that system that we all know that church will not listen to women and definitely will not agree with her. So I'm wondering how thin, her line is that she's walking right now. But I wish her all the best.
That's right. To me, anytime polygamy is attached to Mormonism, it's better for the world. And I can tell you more about that another time. So anyway, there's also an apology was issued. Does anybody want to say what the story is about on that?
Well, how about we listen first to the insult?
Right. We've got both of those loaded up. So
yes, let me.
Does Randy have to do it or?
No, I have it. You just have to play.
Which one goes first?
There's only one.
The racist remarks?
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're on this stage, there's two just great big lights. And this, I call this the revenge of the grasshoppers because when I was a child, you know what you do with a grasshopper and a magnifying glass. And so for all of those that I sent to the other side, now I'm got the same kind of light here on me. And I'm wearing glasses, and I've burned holes in my retina here. So I'm grateful for this light. I'm especially grateful that we could sing This Little Light of Mine. That's a song where white people try to sing like black people. And it's our hymn, but I want you to know that we sang it in our ward. I happen to be visiting our ward because I don't get to go to my home ward. And we sang it for intermediate or something hymn. And I'm sitting next to our second counselor there on the stand, and he's singing This Little Light of Mine, I'm a-gonna let it shine. And I went, dude, I wanted to turn to him and say, you know you're white. And he was saying, no, I'm an African slave is what I am. And I'm singing Swanee River, and anyway, I'm so glad it's in our hymn book. It does make you move just a little bit. And then there's another hymn in there that makes you move even more. I'm going to live so God can use me. I like that one. I'm grateful that we can rejoice in our music.
Man.
He dug a hole deeper and deeper and went.
He should get some kind of an award for being the stupidest comment in church history. Well, no. There's way too many stupid comments.
One of the manys. Yep.
Yeah, one of the many.
Plus, he basically created some new theology where grasshoppers make it to the other side.
Okay, can I ask you something? Because I got even backlash on the grasshoppers. Have you ever killed insects with a magnifying glass?
Hell yeah, I have. I saw the thread and
yeah,
and read
I'm like,
it. So I didn't step up to say it, but I don't know any kid that I grew up with that didn't have a magnifying glass to burn ants. I didn't do grasshoppers. I did ants.
We did leaves and little wood to make real fire, but we wouldn't kill insects.
I also wondered if they were really Mormon crickets, but he didn't want to use the word Mormon.
Maybe. But it was just like funny, like the backlash about the grasshoppers. I mean, I think it's a cruel thing to do. And I know a lot of kids don't think about it, but it was just like, not everybody's doing it.
I will say I remember burning grass.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yes.
weeds, and just to see what it could do.
Yep.
Either I wasn't fast enough to catch any little moving things in an experiment, or it didn't cross my mind. However it was. I know that happens. If he was 13 or 14 and did it, then I would have a problem. If he was 6 or 7, whatever. He hadn't been baptized yet, so he wasn't of full mind and body in Mormonism.
That's a good point. It would be interesting what age he was, but he didn't say that.
Yeah.
For the record, I don't kill anything with magnifying glasses anymore.
Yeah, we know. We assume you were a child.
Know, I used to do. I think about this, and I hate myself. I don't know what I was thinking, but we would catch birds, my buddies and I in the neighborhood, and we'd do open heart surgery on them and stuff, seeing if we could do surgery and still have them survive.
Oh, wow! And you're not a doctor.
And guess what? I must not be, because none of them survived.
Oh, here you go.
But Trevor says the guy in the bottom was funny, and I'll just say that's Alan Mount.
Yes. Marriage really on a tightrope. Yeah, good people.
And he does a good content, and he doesn't do podcasting anymore, but I hope he comes back. I mean, if Michelle Brady Stone can come back, Alan Mount, you can come back too. So I want to send that message out there.
Exactly. But to your point, Randy, right? You said the first thing you said when you said the story was like, I'm not proud of it. Like, it was not good. So you wouldn't use that story now as an adult and then somebody who represents the historian department of a church to have a really awkward opening of your talk. I didn't even understand what the point was. It was just really weak for a professional person, I have to say.
And thanks, Ronald, for saying I am black and sure do not sing like that. It was truly stereotyping and insulting.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Ronald Hunt felt insulted, and I did as well, at the same time. So
yes. And I have a statement from a black post-Mormon, because I think we should listen to those people, because I saw Jacob Hansen and so many I don't know what the problem is. Like, oh my gosh, get over yourself. Where I'm like, that's the problem, because you still don't see your white privilege. So I told every time, shut up, sit down, and listen to people of color, what it feels to them.
Right. They can't see the white privilege of making fun of other races that they think is what their biggest power is.
Yeah. So if you want to open that next one, racist remarks, that is from a black post-Mormon member.
Go ahead, Randy.
Do you want to read it?
Do you want me to read it, you said?
Yes.
Melody Jackson, a doctrinal candidate at University of Maryland who self-identifies as post-Mormon, wrestles with the questions of race in the church as part of her research. Though personal accountability is always necessary and admirable, Elder McKay must understand that this blight of racism is institutional, Jackson said. It follows a long pattern of the LDS Church taking sacred black spiritual and cultural practices, be it music, food, or hair, and turning them into caricatures, racist humor, or entertainment for mostly white audiences. Bingo.
Exactly. That's why I was like, he said it so good, right? And it's so much better coming from a person of color saying this. And it's an institutional problem. And we all know he's not the first, obviously, we hope maybe he's the last, but Wilcox, it's not too long ago when he stepped into a big hornet's nest, making an absolute horrific statement. And then he needed to be educated to apologize, right? Wilcox then went on some Instagram or whatever it was and did a half-ass apology. And so he later wrote an apology too. Let me pull this up. But how about, wait a second. About the apology, Nemo made a video, and then I'll bring something else up. But let's listen to him first. Here you go.
has for years held the position that the church and its leaders do not seek apologies, and nor do they give them.
Elder Oaks, you were quoted as saying that the church doesn't seek apologies and we don't give them. And of course, this sparked a whole storm on social media about those who wonder how this view comports with Christian theology. Again, wanted to give you an opportunity to respond to that.
I'm not aware that the word apology appears anywhere in the scriptures, Bible or Book of Mormon.
However, that may have just changed, considering that Kyle S. McKay, you know, the guy who did this,
And he's singing, "This little light of mine, I'm a-gonna let it shine." And I went, dude, I wanted to turn to him and say, you know you're white. And he was saying, no, I'm an African slave is what I am.
has just apologized for those remarks. And it's an actual apology, not just an expression of regret. He apologized for pain, offense, or embarrassment that he had caused, and prayed that Jesus would give him better vision and judgment. Could this be the start of church leaders taking more accountability for their actions? As always, let me know what you think in the comment.
Tapir Crochet says, "Oops, jump scare." I actually had the same thing. It sounded like Satan was invading our show for a second. That's what I thought. But anyway.
Or somebody wrote, "Does his boss know that he apologized?"
Right?
But
It's scary when Satan speaks.
But Jessica, you don't really feel it was much of an apology.
yes. So how about we read, because, Nemo always asks for comments. That was not mine, but I thought it was a good comment. If we bring this up, I thought that was well put. Do you see that?
You're clicking on it, Randy.
Oh, no, I
You want me
will.
to- I'll do it.
Here we go.
He was apologizing to the president for any collateral damage his jokes may have caused. I did not take it as the church apologizing or even him apologizing for really the content of what he said. It was more of an acknowledging that his joke was not appropriate for that time and place. So he could have told the joke in an appropriate time and place. Is that what he's saying?
Or if nobody would have been offended, he had no reason to apologize. So everybody can go online. There is his letter. You can read it. It's not long at all. And I showed my returned missionary son, who's not a member anymore, but I showed him the video and I was like, "What jumps to you?" And his eyes were open. He's like, "Ouch, that's racist." I'm like, "Okay, do you think he should apologize?" He's like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "What should be part of the apology?" And he's like, that it was racist and that he's aware now. The word race or racism does not exist in his apology. He's apologizing to the people who feel offended. Bednar March 2, members should not be offended. So pretty much, and then Jesus will take the wheel, kind of literally kind of what he said, like, "Oh, I hope Jesus can take the pain off of you." What is that? I mean, if that would be my kid, you know what I would have said? Turn around, back, do better. That was not an apology. What are you shameful for? What was wrong? And then how will you make sure it doesn't happen to you again? The same with Wilcox. He never really did a true apology either. So to me, it's just a pattern of Mormons working with PR. Somebody told them, "Buddy, that was really bad. That looked bad." So they apologize for being caught with the hand in the cookie jar. They're not apologizing because they truly understand they have a blindness when it comes to racism.
Yeah. Do we have that on video, the apology?
The printed one? His?
He never did it out loud. Rebecca
It's just a
had,
paper, a letter.
I don't know if Rebecca read it
have
or not.
footage of it then.
But
I mean,
go
I can
and
pull
watch
it up.
Rebecca's show. She probably reads it.
Yeah.
They might have done it. She might have done it during the week. Looking for one of her.
I can read it. I mean, it's really 2 sentences.
You can read it. Go ahead and read it.
Yeah. Let me see. It is quick.
And if you need a minute, Jessica, I can just throw a quick video in for
Yeah, go ahead.
grins. This is something that Songs of Her Own sent to me, and I think she sent it to others in our group as well. But I got a big kick out of it, especially because my son used to work for this company. It's called Funny or Die, and it's Will Ferrell's company. And my son did all of his social media for him. So he knows these people, and he says it's a hilarious place to work. Anyway, here we go.
It's a brand new Right Obama Day. What a time to be black, a girl, or gay. No, nothing could go wrong. So join us in this song of happy days for the gays. Nothing can go wrong.
Look, nobody's watching. It's time to spread some hate and put it in the Constitution.
Now, how?
Proposition 8.
Proposition 8. Right! People listen to our plea. They'll teach kids about
sodomy.
That wasn't right, that's a lie. But it works, so we don't care. Now you wish we'd all shut up, but make our clothes and fix our hair. And our love's not a sin. Well, the Bible says it so.
Well, the Bible says a lot of things, you know?
Jesus Christ!
Hey, how's it going?
Jesus, doesn't the Bible say these people are an abomination?
Abomination? Yeah, but you know, it says the exact same thing about this shrimp cocktail.
Shrimp cocktail?
Leviticus says shellfish is an abomination. Abomination?
What else does the Bible say, Jesus?
The Bible says a lot of interesting things. Like you can stone your wife or sell your daughter into slavery.
Well, we ignore those verses.
Well then, friend, it seems to me you pick and choose.
You pick and choose.
Well, please choose love instead of hate. Besides, your nation was built on separation of church and state. See you later, sinners.
Bye, Jesus. Bye, Jesus. I love you, Jesus.
You know, here's another thought to wrap things up. Oh, every time a gay or lesbian finds love at the parade, there's money to be made.
He's right.
It's time to groom, say, paint that wedding hall, and lavender's the shade. There's money to be made.
He has a point.
Think of all the carriages and 4 white horses. There's millions lost from all your disapproving.
Well, that's not good.
Think of all the lawyers for the gay divorces. Think of the tattoo removing.
We get it now.
We've been such fools. I can see America's calling me. Yes, gay marriages will save the economy.
So there you go. Probably if that demonetizes my channel, I'm going to erase the whole thing. And so just text Randy and have him send you. What would be the title of that?
Wait, now why would we demonetize that?
Comedians do a skit about Jesus and
woke Jesus.
Whatever. So don't worry about why. I'm just saying it could, because it could have been a professional production instead of just a bunch of people shooting themselves in the backyard. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you just write him a little note and let him know that Randy, his son, worked for Funny or Die during that time. And they'll say, Randy Watts? Oh gosh, yeah, by all means, use anything you want.
You're going to have to do that for me. Just all on your own. Just say, hey, if we ever show anything on our shows, give us a pass.
So I have the apology letter up if you want to bring it up.
Heck yeah.
Can you read it?
Can you read it, Randy?
Okay. Dear President, and I'm just curious, this is to the president of the church?
Probably the stake.
The stake president, yeah.
Stake president, because it was stake meeting.
Dear Stake President, at the beginning of my remarks this past Sunday in the Yukon-Oklahoma Stake Conference, I made a poor attempt at humor around the singing of This Little Light of Mine. My words have caused offense and injury and put a blight on an otherwise wonderful weekend. I deeply regret saying what I said and apologize for pain, offense, or embarrassment that I have caused anyone in your stake or beyond. I pray that Jesus, or Jack Black, who descended below all sin and error, will somehow help heal wounds I may have caused, and in the process, give me a better vision and judgment. Please feel free to share this letter with anyone who might benefit from reading it, especially if you're a post-Mormon podcaster.
So what do you think about the apology?
It sounded good. Tim Rathbone says it was virtue signaling.
Exactly. It was an apology to apologize, but not to address what you did wrong.
Yeah,
so
he
just
didn't
a model for Elder McKay, because I'm sure he's going to watch this
for sure
someday. So express how you would have worded that letter.
Well, I would have worded the letter that I was ill-educated and I had white privilege, and somebody had unfortunately to educate me that was really offensive and racist. And I understand that now, and I will not do that again. And I will promise I will learn more about it, because apparently I have some blind spots about this. And I deeply apologize to everybody I hurt, and I really regret this, but I can't take it back. But I can really say, like, I understand now, and I'm almost like ashamed that it had to come to that point that I understand it. But obviously the words are already out.
Well, I'm voting for you for church historian in the future.
Ditto.
But the whole idea is you get educated beforehand, right?
Exactly.
And you
and
have
especially
life lessons.
For a lawyer historian.
What year is it, Jessica?
2026.
So we should be more evolved in that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And well, the least he could do now is say, I want to talk to more Black members. I need to be exposed more. I want to hear from you. What hurt? What could I, or even ask them, what would be a good apology? What can I say now and do that would make up for it? Don't ask the white members.
But I like the way you said, I'm not sorry that people got offended. I'm sorry that I hurt people.
Exactly. You take ownership.
Turn it around so that it's inward facing.
Exactly. And then, interesting enough, the Salt Lake Tribune had an odd article out there. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was a really smaller one, but I was almost shocked they printed it.
Really?
Yes.
I can never read the Salt Lake Tribune stuff because it makes me.
Oh no, it's open now. It's only donation. All the links are. You can all click them now. Yeah, they changed it just recently. Good. But you can click on this one, and I'm curious what you guys think.
Let's see.
Randy, do you want to read it?
Sure. How do you think LDS adults can teach their children not to bully, harass, or insult others, or use racial slurs in an American society that has grown more coarse in its everyday language? I asked Tracy Browning, who has served in the general primary presidency, what the church is doing to counter it. She had one suggestion: teach them songs about loving Christ in word and deed. Do you agree? What else could the church do? First of all, what are we teaching kids to sing?
Yeah. And why are they worried about it? It's just this odd thing. So you teach them not to be racist by singing? But here are the best comments. If we just all three share and go through them, they're really good, very good comments. And what's all comments from the Salt Lake Tribune?
Someone said, LDS adults are the problem. The racism and bigotry is calling from inside the house. And where do they learn it from? What book of scripture do they learn it from, Randy?
That would be the Book of Mormon.
The Book of Mormon. And also the Pearl of Great Price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he says in the book, what book? BOM.
Yes.
In fact, they need a plan in place to keep children from using the N-word is alarming. Kids often mimic their parents.
That was just in the news 3 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
Some redneck dipshit in Utah rolls his window down and screams at an African-American man walking down the street.
So then Sarah answers Lori and says, right? People who use coarse language in general don't hurl racial slurs at others unless they have the underlying racism that makes them think that that's okay. Society isn't having an impact on the church. The racist teachings are right in the scripture. Past GA comments and quotes and very recent talks by general authorities. Okay, Randy, you can read that one.
My suggestion would be to stop teaching LDS children that they're in the only true church. Stop creating a culture where LDS members are conditioned to think that they are superior to other people, and change the overall culture to give true equality to females and people of color of all ages. As an adult convert, I very quickly observed smugness and superiority from many members of my ward, also the missionaries I spoke to. Although I had a lifetime history in traditional Christian denominations, some members treated me as though I'd never heard of God or Jesus. I'd also raise awareness of the toxic elements of being promoted to the bishopric, stake presidency, or GA level and above. You can't address bullying your culture if your culture has a built-in caste system.
That's an interesting... I don't know if I agree with the last part personally. I mean, I am Hindu and I actually live by the caste system, and that's like you don't get promoted that way. I like everything else though.
Well, I think she was more commenting that Wilcox was promoted after he did his racial slur and apologized. And then the next general conference, he was General Young Men's Authority.
Yeah, and I mean, I get that. And this is just me being me because of my autistic brain and just nitpicking, right? Like in a caste system, meritocracy does not matter. Your bloodline matters. So it doesn't matter how competent or incompetent you are. It doesn't matter what you do or don't do. You don't get promoted for saying something racist and apologizing, right? So,
but in Mormonism, you do.
Yeah, which is... the real caste system is the heavenly kingdoms, right? That's the real caste system, and how valiant you were in the past life. That's the real caste system.
That's true.
So, and because the church needs to educate people, how much time are they going to be given each week to educate people now, Jessica?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. That's the Sunday frenzy that's part of our title here.
That just reminds me of the training we got at like Wells Fargo, where I used to work at, where it would be on everything from like, it's non-banking related, so it's not just DEI, but it's like how to talk to your boss, and it's like these 20-minute web classes. Nobody pays attention to that crap. We know what the correct answer is. We click the buttons, we go back to work, or we go on lunch. Nobody pays attention. I will say, however, I am actually impressed by the audacity of whatever that dude's name was that like made the racist comments and kept going. I have never seen a human being commit PR suicide in real time.
Yeah. That's Elder Kyle McKay.
He kept going, and I'm like, I don't want to offend anybody here, but I'm literally expecting this guy to say the N-word like halfway through. I'm like, he's got to say it at some point.
Going.
So he's
exactly. It's only a matter of time. Just say
that's
it.
where he's going.
You might as well.
Like I said, he was cooking, and he's getting himself deeper and deeper into it.
Yes.
Well, exactly. And by the way, like, I'm not advocating for saying the N-word at all, but like the way he was going, and I'm like, bro, if you're gonna say the N-word, just do it.
Yeah.
Just
do it.
You're already down this far. You might as well. Like, you can't go back. You can't go back.
Yeah.
You've already dug yourself a hole.
Yeah, exactly. He was already like pretending to talk like Black people, and that would have been exactly the
that
last.
was insulting. Yeah.
Exactly. That was like,
And
why would you do that?
And you know what? You talking about? I talked to some of the blacks there in the faith. There was a guy. The guy I tell you about is an optometrist in the Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina area. He has some. He has 4 practices there in the Raleigh Durham area, and he's an optometrist. He was the first. That's when I told you, the first black student body president at BYU Provo, and his name is Dr. Robert Foster. You should have talked to him. And by the way, he's one of my Facebook. That's one of my sports buddies. I never thought I'd have a Mormon sports buddy. He and I hit it off real well as in sports. You know, we're not in the same faith, but yeah, that's my sports buddy, and he played basketball at I think he played at the with the BYU Idaho. He suffered an injury, but he he loves basketball. He loves sports, and but he should have talked to Dr. Robert Foster about say things, because by the way, Dr. Foster just told me, he sent a message saying he just moved up. It just made him state president of that that region right there in the Raleigh North Carolina area.
All right, so Jessica
Real
has
quick,
more things, but go ahead, Dave, and then we'll read this.
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick, my other point to just jump in was like teaching kids to sing about Jesus to avoid racism. Like, I'm going to be honest, okay? I grew up my mother was a Christian, and I got dragged in high school to a Christian church, had to learn to sing all the songs and do all the stuff. And then I would go to my friend's house, get in a Call of Duty chat lobby, and the racial slurs and death threats that came out of my mouth and everybody's mouth in Call of Duty chat lobby, all of us were in the church, and you would not have known that it just boom. Yeah, Trevor says LOL, exactly. I could show you like a picture of that chat lobby, and like you can hear the profanity in your head just by seeing the gamer tags, right?
I mean, it's
like,
even to
that doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
I mean, most of us don't even listen to the lyrics of the pop songs we hear, right? We like the rhythm, we like the beat. Most of when I talk to my kids, do you even know what the guy or girl is singing? And they're like, not really. And then, when we talk about it, oh, so why would a primary song make that big of a difference?
Brother Chuck, I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Chuck.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm directing it to you because right at the moment, you're the only person of color on our panel.
Yes.
I lived in Memphis. I mean, we're talking the deep South. And
oh, yeah.
The members of the Black community, almost 85-90% of them use the N-word towards one another.
Yeah, and
it's like, hey, blankety blank.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing at Target? Or something. And it's
we think NWA stood for that N-word with attitude, and then that's what Ice Cube and Dr. Dre and on with Eazy-E, and I listened to them back in the late 80s and early 90s, and they in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and having it, and it make it comfortable using it, but it happened. A lot of them think because yeah, man, that's we try to put things. I said no, why are you using the word? You don't want nobody else using it, but why you think I'm supposed to be comfortable just because we all the same race? I take offense to them doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and these young people that are watching this and watching the music videos and everywhere you see it.
And my parents don't like that either. Yeah, because they lived the civil rights. They lived Jim Crow.
It looks cool and sounds cool when the blacks are using it. They're no big deal.
No.
But then these white kids think, oh, well, they can say it. I'll just join in, and they try to act like they're part of the community when they're not, and that doesn't fly. So I was just curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah, and what happened? What happened? A lot of them at these games now. This one of these rappers, they play his rap, and he used the N-word in there, and they play it at Penn State University's football games. Sheck West, they play his rap there, and then he's using the N word all over the place, and they blasting it there in the stadium. All those whites. That's a traditionally white school there
I actually have a
State College,
question.
Pennsylvania.
I
Happy
actually have a
Valley.
question
Yeah.
for you, Chuck.
Yeah.
Along those lines, because what you just touched on, like with music, so like here in Mongolia, a lot of people say the N-word. Now, they don't hate black people, they don't look down on black people. It's just they listen to American rap and they just assume that's how people talk in America. They just assume that. So I guess my question is, assuming you could handle how cold it gets in Mongolia, how would you like respond to that, knowing that they're not being racist, they just think that's how Americans talk, like they're just culturally ignorant? How would you respond to that?
I wouldn't like that one bit. And see what happened. My father was in my father was in the civil rights movement in the 1960s in Louisiana, and they didn't know too well about that word. And they were out there. They were shot at and everything else. They were out getting people registered to vote. And he heard that word many times. He dealt with racism, and like I say, he was in the civil rights movement. He heard the N word many times, and even when he was playing music on the road, he say when he was traveling on the road, he played trumpet, and he said in Boston, I think he said even to this day, that's why he can't get ready for Boston, Massachusetts. He said he got there. That was during the time of the riots in 1967. He got there. Said a white woman called them the N-word, saying they're the ones that caused the riot, and said one the drummer in the group danced. They had to hold him back. He got so mad. He said he chased that woman down the street with drumsticks. They had to hold him. He told her, hey, let her go. He said, because you were dealing with many more of them out there like that. That was in 1967. They said that was that hot summer because Detroit was burning. Everywhere they went, I think he said Dad said Detroit. He said Cincinnati. What else?
San Francisco,
Boston,
wasn't it?
Boston, Buffalo. Buffalo was burning too. Buffalo, all those places. Buffalo was burning, and Detroit because I know where he said a hotel where he was staying. Some Black Panthers had gotten killed at that hotel. He was about to stay there, but one of his band brothers from Grambling was there in Detroit, and said he said, where are you? And he told him where he was. He said, have you hadn't checked? He said, don't. Hey, I'm come pick you up. You gonna stay with me and my wife? He said, don't check in if they just killed some Black Panther members there.
No, and I appreciate you expounding upon that, because my wife told me a story, because again, like just people here, they don't typically go to America, so they just don't know, and a lot of them are ignorant.
Yeah, a lot of them know. They see it on television, they think it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. They think, hey, this is what Americans do. But like she was telling me that one of her female friends from high school, like when she found out like what the N-word meant and the history behind it, she broke down in tears, had a major panic attack, and was suicidal for a few months. Like, so it's, like when they learn, they know it's not okay. It's just, we're in between Russia and China. We don't get a lot of black people.
Well, and Mongolian are not necessarily white. So I would see that's also a little bit different than a white person or even a European person would say that.
Yeah,
right?
And that's what I wanted to know, because obviously, my assumption, and I appreciate the answer too, because my assumption is obviously if a white person said it, that would cause problems.
Yeah.
An Asian who's never been to America that uses it because of rap songs, I didn't know how that would be viewed, because it is different. So
yeah, that's why I would give more grace to.
And to answer Trevor's question, I've only seen 2 black people here, and they were here for the Nottingham Festival. I'm gonna be honest, because I was very involved. Like I lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota, very predominantly black.
I've been to Minneapolis.
Area. Yep, I grew up in Minneapolis, and
I went there for a 2010 convention, Unitarian Universal Association General Assembly. That was the summer, June 2010. I flew up there.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I saw the Floyd riots firsthand, and I participated in the original protests before they turned it around. But anyway, so it's was very involved with the black community and helping black dollars stay in the black community. Right.
Prince Rogers Nelson's hometown.
Yeah. So how are they treated here? just from my interactions with black people generally don't go to a place that's 75 below zero before wind chill. Right. I mean, Chuck can prove me wrong, but Chuck, you want to come here where it gets -80 with wind chill in the winter and people freeze to death in their own homes? You want to come here? Right.
You never know you never know what life will bring you. See, I don't turn away, because people think, oh, you need to go there. You never know where opportunities, opportunity might come somewhere.
That is true. I just bring that up. Bring that up because the black people in Minneapolis that I work with, they ask me what I'm doing in Mongolia and what it's like. I tell them how cold it gets. They go, "Nah, fuck that." I ain't going there.
And Minneapolis get cold a certain amount of time. Yeah, I went there at the right time, but it can get real cold up there.
So it's it's like with foreigners in general. Like there's a black YouTuber called iShowSpeed, and my anecdotal observation of what I saw online was people were curious as to why a black American was in Mongolia. They were happy, they were excited. There was also fear among the younger generation where basically a lot of younger people on Reddit were like, oh my God, my grandparents are going to use the N-word. Please don't. I hope he's okay, kind of a thing. But, generally Westerners in general here in Mongolia, you'll get
he stopped using it. Sure did.
Yeah,
Richard Pryor sure did stop using it. Yeah.
But I mean, generally, I can't say for sure because they're just we're 99.999% Mongolian. So
yeah.
You see what's happening with the Southern Baptist Convention. You were talking about the lady was going with women in the church. You see what was happening? I had just told you all that last Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised in the Southern Baptist Convention. That's going to be up for discussion about women in ministry. And they're talking about the ban on women. I wasn't surprised when I saw the news.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's all over, right? Where those very far right Christians are against voting now. Like, oh, families should vote as a block. And even, wasn't it like the Erica Kirk who was like, yeah, I freely give up my vote. You can only say that because
and my parents and I just voted early yesterday. Yeah.
I mean, those women are almost worse than patriarchal men, where I'm like, why are you prepping up the patriarchy? Are you dumb? But
oh Lord, yeah.
Before we go to the next, let's go to the next slide, and then I'll answer Trevor's other question because Jessica's going to talk.
Oh, we need to go to 4 first.
Oh yeah, Jessica, you read this because it's from Jessica, so you can
yes, and it's kind of the 5 belongs to it. It's one longer one, and then it's done. Teaching them songs about loving Christ isn't focusing their care for others, especially those unlike themselves, without the threat of oversight of an omnipotent God. If you want kids to respect others, you have to model behavior and expose them to other cultures, lifestyles, without all the negative judgment and self-righteousness. Unfortunately, with the one true church, there has long been a one right way. We see it play out in the wake of church missions with the obliteration of regional cultural traditions as new members assimilate into church-approved practices. And then, at its core, the function of the church is stepped in the straight and narrow. Anyone who doesn't look like us, act like us, dress like us, believe like us isn't worthy, according to doctrine. In stripping away the humanity of anyone who is different, the brethren in leadership have created and doggedly reinforced the environment that fosters and breeds the bullying, harassing, and insulting behavior. Further, the sisters have known it for years. We've been trying to teach the brethren. They won't listen. And so now, exhausted by the effort and with no real voice in a movement toward greater acceptance, a great many sisters have decided to speak with our feet.
Yeah, that sounds about
right. I mean,
well, that's interesting. Go ahead.
To me, like we learned this, like we're German family. And we moved to Singapore with 3 of our boys, and then we moved to the United States. And we travel quite a bit because being in a different country, especially in a country where you don't easily speak the language, which mostly means in a country that doesn't speak English mostly, it really humbles you to a very core. So none of our kids have any racism in them. And it's not because we have to tell them literally don't be racist. It's just because they learn to appreciate other cultures, other people and learn to deal with different ideas. And it has nothing to do with skin color. So in the school they were in Singapore, there were children from India, right?
Yep.
I mean, there are so many nuances of skin color. It's not just black and white, right? And at the end of that, we all pee the same, we bleed the same, it doesn't matter. But to learn about different cultures, to travel, to be also dependent on somebody helping you, that's when you be grateful for other people all of a sudden, right? You're grateful that they help you. You're grateful that they reach out. And then you also surprised that's not a religious monopoly. People, humanity help. If you're not just an asshole, right? But most people in any culture are happy to help you. If you don't know your way around, even with language, like we've been to Hong Kong, most of them don't speak English. You think that, but they don't. And we just had a piece of paper with our address from the hotel and Disneyland, and yet they help you with fingers. We're like, right, left, twice, left, People want to help and are good. And the more you expose to that, you really turn down the bigotry, you turn down the ideas you might have or get taught, because then you learn they're false. Yeah. It's one human race. There's no nationality. We one human race. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about astronauts when they come back, right? It's one planet, one human race, period.
Google Translate will save your life. And this is living in Mongolia. I will say, because your comments about Singapore tie into like what I wanted to talk about with Trevor's comment. It's like some Asian cultures are extremely racist, and that's true.
Sure, yeah. Oh yeah.
So to give a very brief rundown, if me and
they bring it to the United States.
Yeah, if me and Chuck were traveling, I would feel very comfortable and safe bringing Chuck here to Mongolia and to Singapore. My sister-in-law lives in Singapore. Everybody lives in Singapore. All races live in Singapore. Yeah. Thailand and Philippines, the same thing. We are not going to China. We are not going to South Korea or Japan.
Oh, no.
Right. Yeah, we're not going to those countries. We're going to kind of the more, well, Mongolia isn't so much westernized, but I mean like the Philippines and Singapore, and Thailand, like there's stupid amounts of like Westerners in Thailand and the Philippines. Yep. So Black Americans go there, and like I've had some Black friends who went to Singapore and Thailand. Everyone loved them and thought they were basketball like NBA players.
That's right. I've even been to Thailand.
Yeah, they've been super friendly to them, and I just seen them post on Facebook relatively recently. It's like, dude, we expected to get like spit on and like all these other things. People here just love people from other countries in Singapore and the Philippines. They're really friendly, and I'm like, those are the good countries.
Yeah.
China,
and also, what helps you not have prejudice, honestly, is learning at least one more language, because that's also a very humble experience to fall over words and not able to express yourself well, right? And having somebody else who speaks that language have the grace and the kind of dignity to sit with you and say, it's not, try again, and then you're like, okay, shoot. And it really feels uncomfortable. I mean, I learned multiple languages. I have so much respect for people who are really fluent in multiple languages, because then you create even more empathy, because there is a psychology test. We all do this, unfortunately. When you hear a person with an accent, you take away IQ, because they don't sound as eloquent, right? But when you learn another language, then all of a sudden you understand that has nothing to do with eloquent. It just means it's hard to be as eloquent in a different language. But you're
the one with the accent now.
Yes, exactly.
Well, American English is a bullshit language. It's so stupid. Like
I didn't say that.
I will say it because I'm slowly learning Mongolian, and like my wife has been teaching me like Chinese words, and it's like, like Chinese words make sense because there's like, for the words car and train, there's like fire car, which is a car, and then there's a steam car, which is a train. So it's basically the same end point, but just a different prefix. right? So it's all the same, and there's like entire categories. But in English, there's car, there's train, there's SUV, there's truck, there's pickup truck, there's semi truck. There's no translation for this like anywhere, you know? So, and like even with the word like, and I think I talked a bit about this, but like learning other languages, it's like if I say I love my wife in Mongolian, I forget what it is off the top of my head, but it's like it's a very specific term for a man loving his wife. But there's another term for me loving her mother, which is more of a honorific. So it's less. It's not a romantic love. It's a respect thing. And then there's a different word for her grandmother because she's an elder. So there's 3 different words depending on the situation, complete with tone, context, and body language. But in America, we say, "Yeah, I love my wife. I also love Burger King."
That's true.
So it's like
time out.
No wonder people get confused.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jessica. I'm going to go back some big daddy steps. You were talking about accents and how that automatically takes away from IQ. I have to say, and I'm not proud of this either,
right?
I know that this is racist as well, but when I hear someone with an Asian accent or a German accent, I think they're very intelligent. When I hear someone with a French accent or a South African accent, I think they're very sexy.
And Louisiana is a French state.
But Randy, to your point, it's still a stereotype because especially for Asians, that means they're all good in math and they're not, right? So it's not helpful in a way. I know it sounds nicer because it's almost a compliment, but that can build pressure for a certain nationality that's also not fair. So I know what he's saying, kind of like the French sounds like romantic, and obviously not all French people are romantic at all, but I know the Americans love the French.
Well, that's why I said it's racism in and of itself for me to say that I think they're more intelligent when I hear them speak. When I have a doctor walk in the room to diagnose me with something, I would much rather hear a foreign accent, one of those two, than some Southern redneck kind of accent American guy like, it looks like we might have a problem.
I don't know if I heard a doctor speak in a French accent. I just unalive myself.
If you're in my state,
no shot. I'm done.
Hey Dave, if you're in my state, I'm in the French state. I'm not in the French part of the state. I'm in the upper part of the state, close to Arkansas. But down in South Louisiana, they have all those Cajun Creole accents. They speak so much French. I don't know what they're saying, man. It's a language barrier here in this state because
I do like hearing them talk.
They're quite different. Go to New Orleans and all those places, and oh boy, that accent is something. It's deep. What happened? They understand what I'm saying when they start speaking, and I have to. I said, what did you say again?
Well, I think some of it too isn't necessarily racism. It's a subconscious awareness that
stereotypes.
Well, and I mean, not all stereotypes are bad. Like Tim says, his doctor's Indian, the other his other doctor's from Iran, right? And like if I see an Indian doctor, right? I mean, I know I'm in good hands because instead of doing 12 years of medical school, they do 4 to 6, but they don't take time off. It is literally 7 days a week, 18 hours a day, right? And if you mess up once, your career is over. You have no shot. So if they make it through that intensity of med school and can get through the immigration process in the U.S., like these guys are good. They have to be. They wouldn't be here otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's the thing. It's also you get the cream from India, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my former doctor's from India. What happened? He was a great doctor, but he and his family ended up moving down to Florida. He ended up getting a job down in Florida, and hate to see him go. He was a great doctor.
Yeah.
My parents loved him too.
I mean, most of, I feel like people outside of Germany think we have a really harsh language, and yet we have the most famous poets coming from Germany because we have also very deep We have for everything a word, kind of like Dave said too, right? Like we have for every little thing, we have our own word, and they get longer and longer because we create words. So if you feel like, oh, that's not really it, then I make a new word. So I think languages are just a fascinating thing. But my point was more like, be open, like have empathy with somebody who struggles when, they don't speak your language, and maybe, take up and learn a new language. It really, really opens someone's mind.
People love it. They think it's cute. There are 2 different people from America here that have gone viral in Mongolia, China, and all of Southeast Asia. They have literally tens of millions of followers, and literally all they do is they go to a restaurant and they try to order food in Mongolian, and everyone thinks it's adorable that they're trying.
Yeah, exactly.
And they just explode. Right?
And I think my experience, honestly, in America or the United States, is that most Americans find it fascinating because most Americans don't speak more than one language. Right. So they're always in awe if you even speak somewhat fluent English. So I think most Americans are very respectful, and they think it's awesome that you can speak more than one language. My point is more like, but if you want to open your own horizon, it's definitely helpful to. I learned a little bit of Chinese or Mandarin in Singapore. It humbled me to the core. I can obviously still not speak it, but it was funny how much pronunciations were similar to German. Not that all that the meanings were the same, but for me it was easier to pronounce it than for the Americans because my tongue uses letters differently. And that's just like you connect with people. And that, I think, what we need is we need to connect with people and just, give everybody the benefit of the doubt that they're good, great people.
That's why I had to tell some people within my race, we just got finished talking about the N-word, and some of them within my race, I tell them, I said, well, we don't want, but we want people to respect us. But we sometimes there are people in my race who could be, towards people who are of other cultures, say crazy stuff, and also there's a lot of homophobia and transphobia within my race as well, in these churches. And I have they're the main ones that say things about being discriminated against. But I'm like, wait a minute, you saying you discriminating? You say you're being discriminated against, but you're not being nice to people who are LGBTQ. I was looking at I see that's the cap. That's the cap you have on, Randy. Is that for Pride Month? The shades.
You're muted.
Yeah.
Randy, you muted. Yeah, so is my shirt and my glasses.
Yeah, and that's why I say, I hear people in my community make a lot of remarks, homophobic and transphobic remarks when it's Pride Month, and I hear some of my family that do that kind of stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute, you don't want nobody to we don't want to be disrespected, but you're going to be disrespectful to people who are different, and you're going to but you don't want to, when something racial is said, you're gonna be up in arms. And I had to kind of tell them, I said, you're not. I said, what you're doing, and I'm quick to tell some of these churches, I tell you, you're not any different from Trump. I'm quick to tell them that.
Yeah. So education has been offered as part of the answer, and I just wanted to say that Rebecca had something to say about how the change in Sunday school is coming, and I'm going to add her to the stage, and if she starts talking, then let's listen. Okay, I have to go turn it on.
An article came out over the weekend. We are getting closer and closer to one of the most exciting events in Mormonism in recent history, and that is the implementation of the new Sunday schedule. The headline is Church of Jesus Christ releases guide for new Sunday meeting schedule. They're prepping everybody. They're getting everybody ready, because what's going to happen, and I know we've talked about this before, sacrament meeting, regular length of time, and then 2 25-minute classes, right? Oh my goodness. I think maybe even leadership is a little nervous about how this is going to be implemented, because they're putting out a guide. They're going to have a special 5th Sunday meeting about this to train everybody. They're really, really working hard on this behind the scenes. I follow faithful social media, and most people are predicting chaos. We know how the halls are. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. I know they're going to try. I know they have their reasons for doing it, but I just think it's going to be a hot mess.
I think it's going to
be. What's interesting about that is that, a 5th Sunday lesson on racism. They could be doing a guide on racism. They're so worried about how the new change in the Sunday school is going to be compared to, we'll say first world problems or whatever.
Well,
That
I
guy-
can't even imagine how that's going to go down because
guy,
it's
McKay.
like. Go ahead, Chuck.
That guy that made the one talking about this little light on mine, that McKay, is he related to your former president, David O. McKay?
Probably.
I don't know. Yeah.
You know, a lot of y'all are related. I know it's in that faith that
That's
made them
true.
related to each other.
If he's in
I ain't
authority,
related to nobody here on this.
Yeah, me
panel.
neither.
That's stereotyping on my part.
Well,
We
you're
all
not
relate to
You're
each
not
other.
wrong.
You're not wrong.
There's all these connections.
I still
There's
just
a
can't.
great deal of nepotism. You see the word McKay, the name McKay.
Yeah.
That's your left.
No.
I just think David O. McKay related to him.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Makes sense.
I would just on a bet. I would
Yeah.
bet you a gazillion dollars that he's
There's some
related
connection,
to
yeah.
The
David O.
connection. Just like Joseph Smith has all these relatives in there. Yeah.
I'm changing my name to Gene Smith Jr.
There you go.
I can have more influence.
I still don't understand how
Oh,
this
man.
is going to play out and how the training is going to work. Because it's like you're teaching young kids to not be racist. So what are they going to do? Are they going to be like, don't say the N-word? What do you think they're going to do when they're told to not say the N-word?
Well, and here,
they've been around it.
but the thing is,
No,
right?
like-
And that's where my worry is the biggest. So if the church is already aware, and it seems to be a problem, otherwise they're not addressing anything. The church never addressed something that is not a problem. So if you are aware your children have racist tendency, and you think I'm just like, kids are not born racist, right? You taught racism, either by example or by your family or by your religion.
Yeah.
Or your school, whatever, right? But I'm like, there's something deeper than wrong than singing some songs or even the 20 minutes in primary. If you're worried that your culture is still racism, then you have a prophet who speaks to God. Shouldn't he get some enlightenment to fix this problem inside the house? Children are not racist. They don't born that way. So where is it all coming from? Why do primary kids apparently are already exposed to it?
Oh, he related to President William Taft? He was
It's a
related
PR. It's a PR thing, Jessica. They're
maybe.
doing it solely. I don't think they actually care. I think they're just doing it because of the backlash. And this kind of goes to the point of like, the doubling down thing. Whenever the church gets backlash on like racism or whatever, they're like, oh, okay, we'll just kind of give these token changes and we'll kind of backtrack. But then if you go to like Hinduism or Islam, be like, you guys are racist, and we just be like, yeah, we hate Muslims. Like, we're Hindu. What do you expect, guys? Like, we've been at war for 2,000 years. Like, it's just weird. I don't think they care. I think it's just it screams of a PR thing.
Exactly.
Just like how Wells Fargo started doing, like, after a couple incidents, like the Jabari settlements, they did all these trainings of like, this is how we treat customers now, right? We don't give them subpar loans that we know they can't pay back. We treat them with respect. And it's like, yeah, no shit. Like, this is a PR thing.
Or they're paddling back when you already kind of lost in the stream, and then it's senseless to paddle against the stream. Like when I worked in the temple office, for example, it was the funniest thing. I was just, in San Antonio, you call to make an endowment session and make a reservation. So you need to call. And I was just on the phones. But so I wasn't part of all the trainings, but I can remember so often that they were telling us, don't tell the members, like, hey, you have the wrong clothing on, or to correct them if their rope was still on when they came out, because they learned that so many members then were like, this is a shitty experience. I'm not coming back. So they were pretty much telling everybody, no corrections, don't say anything, because we're losing active members. They're still active, but they wouldn't come to the temple because it wasn't a good experience. But that means somebody taught them in the first place to do correct. And once
all that white you all wear.
Yes, and once they learned it wasn't the good way, it wasn't successful, then they start correcting, but only in hindsight, and that's way harder because you swimming upstream. And also, most of those people were like 70 and upwards. I mean, you know, it's really hard for them to change.
It's really bizarre to me that the LDS Church, which is started off as a sex cult, is very adamant about making women wear more clothing. You want more members? Make women wear less clothing.
That's
I would go back in a heartbeat. My wife would show up too.
Well, they're
Like, we're all
trying,
coming
right?
back.
They're trying with the new garments now. I was shocked. Like, did you guys see that video of the Mormon wedding where the women wasn't even wearing no sleeves? She had this on. There's no fucking way even her new garment is possible to do that. And they were in front of
we
each other.
have women in bikinis that pass sacrament. I would go back in a heartbeat. Yeah, see, Gene, we're all ready to come back here. If the SCMC is watching, trust me, I will fly from Mongolia with my wife back to the U.S. to go back to church. If you have women in bikinis hand stuff out, okay?
That's so sexist, Dave, of you.
Yeah, your wife would
Good.
be thrilled to hear about
Well,
that.
you know what? I'll double down. See, no, I'm not going to back down off of that. In fact, you know what? Make them be naked. Women are not allowed to wear clothes. There. Now what?
Show true control, the man. Yes.
You can't win either way. So it's like you're going to go one direction. At least try and get more members, right? Like
they're already
You're
using
saying,
the
Dave,
for that.
invisible garments.
Ooh.
No.
Have you seen the stickers, Gene?
Uh-uh.
Like somebody posted, like if you're not able to wear the garments, you could buy those body stickers with the symbols. So at least you have the symbols on your body.
Fake people out.
Oh, Lord.
Not
Are
a
y'all-
bad idea if you think about it. It could
Are
end
y'all
up
are y'all
bad.
saying that? Are y'all saying that that Joseph Smith was kind of like he's passed on out of Nevada? He's passed on Bonnie Ranch. Dennis Hoff at the time.
Maybe.
Dennis Hoff. You remember him? He passed away. That's something. He had won the state senate seat. He had still won. He had still won the election. He had passed on. People voted for it.
Here you go.
Oh boy.
Or you could, now that Mormons are kind of theoretically allowed tattoos, they could tattoo the Masonic signs on them.
Now you're talking my language right there, Jessica.
Right?
Tattoo. I have 2 tattoos on me.
And if you want those marks to show, I'll go naked or
See?
in a pair of my tidy whities.
if I were to get two tattoos, it would be a barcode on my right hand, on my and on my forehead, just to trigger people.
Oh, but also, did you see Rebecca announced that from now on, apparently all chapels should have the sacrament table in the middle?
Isn't that weird?
Right?
And
Why does
it's
it
not
matter so
on the
much?
plan.
It's like they're ripping off the Catholics because the Catholics do that.
Pretty much.
I went to Catholic school. I saw that, and I'm not Catholic, but I saw it in mass. Yeah.
Oh, hey, and then maybe the deacons can wear white dresses. Goes right there with the Catholics. You know, the altar boys.
Yeah.
Oh, the altar! I saw the altar boys and coming in with the priests. They're carrying the staff.
With the amount of abuse, I just want to say this, and I'm kind of joking, but I'm also serious. With the amount of abuse and CSA that is in the LDS Church, I do not want the deacons to dress like altar boys. Okay, let's not go down that route.
Fair point.
We've seen how that works in the Catholic Church. Let's not replicate that. Okay.
But still, an odd curveball, kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
and now the table is in the middle. So what?
I don't know what difference it makes with it being centered. Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, okay.
But I
You
think
do
it's
you.
ground level, Jessica.
It's
Isn't it
what?
ground level? So that's not
Yeah.
up on the
Yeah, that's
stand.
true. That's true, Jay. I'm one of them. I'm not Catholic. I went to Catholic school. That's the majority of my school was in Catholic school.
Well, unless they really because it sounded almost they want to reconstruct the chapels or even getting new buildings, right? I mean, they're really all up in arms in it. So who knows what they're doing?
It's money. Well, I
Exactly.
So here's
Just
the
what I say.
thing.
They have enough
I
money
can't call
to play it.
I was going to say, I cannot legally call it money laundering because technically it is legal, but it's basically what states will do with construction, right? So they're treating their assets like a slush fund from a financial standpoint. So they constantly move money around.
Yeah.
Right. Which will help them on taxes and other things because they can, you know, say, oh, well, we donated X amount of money to, you know, corporate repairs and whatever, cost of goods and et cetera, however they want to work. So,
hey everybody. Deborah Harding earlier on said part of the problem about this apology is that members expect it or taking it hook, line, and sinker without understanding why people are upset about what he said. So what do you think about that?
I think it's kind of to what Dave just said. I don't think they really care eradicating racism or anything. It's just a PR thing to do. They know kind of, I guess, come on, let's apologize. Let's get it over with. And then back to normal business. And so that's why it will happen again.
So it's just lip service.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember a couple Ward Radio episodes
or
where
email service.
Well, yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. But there's like, I remember a couple Ward Radio episodes where people, like, basically they were talking about similar things, like the musket fire thing, right? Yeah. For instance, people upset about that. It's like, you know what, just give them their apology. Let's move on. Nobody cares. You know, let's just, not a big deal. Just if they want an apology, print one out quick, send it off, shut them up, you know. So
they're more afraid of the bad attention and they want to get rid of the attention. So they say, sorry. Don't look at us anymore. Please go. And then back to normal business for Mormons.
It's kind of like in your faith. Some of the Black Mormons, former members, Black former members, were talking about that. Talking about them, you know, the NAACP. Talking about them giving money to the NAACP and trying to show that, oh yeah, we're different from where we were, and then, you know, just saying they supported they're giving money to the NAACP and try to make people think things are okay, and which we are, you know, it's not okay. That's what some of the former members were talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Randy, you're going to hear a lot of noise in the background because it's 102 degrees here, and I'm not turning off my air conditioner.
Oh,
we have a thunderstorm going on right now here, so you might get some thunder.
You forget, Alex, that I can turn off your sound. What do you think about them now?
Gene?
Says the man who wants $10 million.
Gene, can you look on our Expositor? I have a video. It's from Matthew McConaughey. It has nothing to do with Mormonism, but I thought it's really short about what an apology is. And I thought he was so on point about what we're all talking about right now. But I can't put it in the StreamYard.
You know, while Gene's getting that, I've got to tell you that I used to think that I was really smooth, really slick when I would apologize to someone I had offended, until I got with Amanda, who has her master's degree in social work and psychology, and we don't get into many arguments, very, very rarely, but when we do, she wants to hear a correct apology. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? I'm saying, you know, I would say things like,
the word,
and compare this to the church. I'd say things like, hey, I had no intention of hurting your feelings. I'm sorry your feelings were hurt. She says, that's not what I want to hear.
Yeah.
She says, I want to hear that you're sorry that you said it, not whether or not it offended me. I want to hear you tell me what you did and tell me you're sorry for that.
Yeah.
And so
it's kind of this interesting thing about impact, right? Like that's what I learned too, is like, if I step on your foot on purpose or by accident, the impact is literally the same.
Right.
So when people always say like, oh, it was an accident, or kind of the guy, right? Oh, it's just a joke. You excusing yourself, you're not apologizing, because it doesn't matter if I did it on purpose or not, because the pain is for you the same, because I stepped on your foot. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's not, nobody cares if it was on purpose or not, but you have to acknowledge, I hurt you. I'm sorry for that.
Yes, that's
So Randy does.
You've been talking to Amanda.
Okay, Jessica, I
Yes.
have this one. You ready for it?
Yes.
Real quick. Randy, did McKay's apology meet that standard that you just described?
Did what?
Did McKay's apology for
No.
It didn't meet.
No.
Okay.
It did not meet my expectations of what an apology should be. Because he
was only sorry for the people who feel offended.
Right. I'm sorry if I offended people or that you feel offended. No. How about I'm sorry, this is what I said. It's
That I
racist.
offended.
There's no room for it, and I need to get educated before I say these types of things.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
And if you forgive me, and you believe that I mean I'm truly sorry, do my best not to ever do that again. If you believe that, and then you forgive me. First order of business is for me to change the behavior that I have so I don't have to come say sorry to you again. That I think we miss sometimes. That sometimes people go, I'm sorry, forgiven. Oh, cool, we're even. All right, back to it. And all of a sudden you're like, you did it again. Dude, have a little room. I thought you were going to course correct. You know, I've got to course correct. The offenders, for the first order of business, for the offender to go, I'm going to do what I can not to have to say I'm sorry to you again.
An apology doesn't change patterns, behavior.
Exactly. No. It's not enough just to say it and then go back to life. You got to say it and immediately start working on changing your behavior.
Yeah. To educate yourself, how can I prevent this from happening again?
Exactly.
But that means understanding first, what did I do wrong and why was it offensive?
You know what I found is that you never hurt a situation with a true apology.
Yeah.
By acknowledging your part and by asking for forgiveness of the person you offended, you're never going to go wrong. If it's a sincere, you want them to know how sorry you are.
And if your opposite person is not a narcissist, unfortunately, religion attracts a lot of narcissists, narcissists will get you by the balls. Once you apologize, then you're on the floor and they will kick you more. That's when you know you have not a healthy person in front of you. Most people will accept an apology and will be grateful that you acknowledged it.
Hey, if they don't accept it, then pardon my French, but fuck them, because if I give a sincere apology and they don't want to accept it, then sayonara.
Yeah, but that's also a little bit the problem in religion, or at least I can speak for Mormonism, right? Like an apology is almost not enough, because then you need to talk to a bishop who needs to kind of approve your apology, your repentance, right? Or even worse, it needs to go to Salt Lake. So, and that's what I honestly always struggled with, where I'm like, it's between me and Jesus, if you want to believe in Jesus, right? We're always like, why do I need a middleman? Why does religion always need a middleman?
It's a good point. It shouldn't. It should be.
I'm glad the panel agrees with Jessica and is on their way to Hinduism, where there is no middleman.
Which, to another point, which I just recently heard from somebody deconstructing evangelicalism, but I thought it was a great point where she was like, if I, as a human, am able to forgive you, you come to me, you apologize, and I can forgive you without any sacrifice, why is my God not able to do that? Why did he need to sacrifice his own son? If I'm as just a stupid little human, I'm capable without sacrifice to forgive you, right? We all can do that. I thought it was a fair question. So why is your God not able to forgive without sacrifice?
But I do want to say something about priesthood.
Go for it.
If there are priests that exist in many religions, including Hinduism, you have the Pandit, you have the Imam, and the other form of priest in Islam, the Rebbe in Judaism, they all operate as intercessors, meaning all they do is they hold your hand and they show you what to do next and how to do it in tandem with the tradition. And they're supposed to be good teachers, which means they teach you, and then when you can do it on your own, they get the fuck out of the way.
Hold on, just a minute. I'm gonna mute this. I'll be right back.
And when you have the Mormon concept of priesthood, what you notice is they don't behave as intercessors. They behave like true bishops. The word episkopos in Greek, which is the source of the English word bishop, is overseer. So prior to its use in a religious context, it was a military rank. So the Mormon priesthood is an overseer. It's not only a guide, but it's a hand holder, and they don't let you go.
Yep.
They do not give you permission to do anything on your own.
By yourself, yes, exactly.
And that's that's really disappointing.
Yep.
To honest spiritual exploration, even if it's outside of Christianity, when you have these ex-Mormons who approach a new faith or new tradition, and then they run into roadblocks because nobody holds their hand. Nobody controls their behavior. Nobody mothers and fathers them into oblivion.
Yeah.
They simply, if say Dave was going to, serve as a pseudo pandit or an ersatz pandit for someone who is interested in Hinduism, let me guess, Dave, you're going to give a few texts, some intro material. You're going to show this person how to handle moving through, it's not a gompa, whatever you call a temple. And then that's it. You're not going to do much further.
Exactly.
Well, and I'm certain you'll say, I'll answer your questions the best that I can. And
for sure.
That is the end of it. You're not going to go any further.
Well, because you allow people outside of, so what I understand, right, to be adults, to become adults. In Mormonism, what's the epiphany? Become like little children. So we can manipulate you and gaslight you forever. That's the goal. Become like children who have no opinions, always depend on somebody telling me the way. And that's literally the MLM of Mormonism. There's only a handful of men who apparently know, and the rest is just like children.
But here's the question that's probably going to bake your noodle later on was that Mormonism from the beginning? Or did that childlike, was it something that, like the racism in the church, did it build over time?
I think it built
where
over
it became
time.
Doctrine.
I think it built over time.
I just want to say, because I have really a hard time believing that Joseph Smith was that clever. So I think Mormonism is not what Joseph Smith did. It's far away from what Joseph Smith created. We're not even anything similar, right? If you think about it, there's some core elements, but we changed the temple, we changed marriage, we changed the word of wisdom. They didn't hold it. We pretend like it's the law. It's almost the 11th commandment, right? Like nothing Joseph Smith did really still exists.
Well,
I
I think
no believing woman would admit to it, right? But if you think about it, and just from like bird perspective, having no skin in the game, there's not much left from Joseph Smith in this.
I agree with that. My only pushback would be nothing comes from a vacuum. So what I believe is, I know it didn't start with Joseph Smith, but I think just how Joseph Smith preyed upon young girls, like the foundation is there. Other people preyed upon young girls over time, and then it kind of blossomed into what it is.
Absolutely. Kind of like a snowball effect. And even if you think about it, I mean, that's the joke, right? Even that is not a new concept. Joseph Smith was not the first man taking advantage of young girls, right? It's not even anything new. It's copy, paste. And then he mixed it all together like a weird salad, and then something came out of it, right? And he kept losing members too. I mean, we know he kept losing with polygamy. That's why he kept it so secret, because he know a lot of people would not be cool with that. He kept losing members. It was hard for him to keep them all together and follow him.
They run him out of states.
Can you explain the highlighted comment? I'm not that familiar with Mormonism that I can figure this out.
General Conference, the Cain Curse doctrine.
What that comment says.
So the Cain curse, I'm assuming it's the curse of Ham?
The skin of blackness.
Yeah. I've read
Skin
that
of blackness.
in the Book of Mormon.
So I thought Ham had the black skin, not Cain.
No, it was Cain.
Yeah,
it was
Cain.
The one that slew Abel, his brother.
Yeah.
And
therefore he was cursed.
Okay.
That's why he was cursed.
Yeah, that's why all that stuff came about, those leaders.
But to me,
Alternate church use that.
Especially in Mormonism, that is not enough because most Mormons don't take the Bible too seriously. You have to address the Nephites and Lamanites thing.
Yeah. Well, going back to Jessica and even Alex's point, like even like the dynamic of Jesus, like sacrificing himself and then like slavishly devoting your life to him for saving the world is kind of like a bizarre, like infantilizing concept, because in Hinduism we kind of maybe somewhat, you could argue, have something similar. Long story short, there was a global flood, right? The earth was ripe for creation. There was a global flood of poisonous water, and Lord Shiva in the mythology and the text drank the water, held it in his throat, and purged it of all the poison, spit it up, and that's how we have oceans. Whereas in Hinduism, you know what we say? We say thanks, bro, and then we go and live our lives. You know what I mean? There's not this infantilizing,
Thanks,
right?
bro.
He didn't die. Well, yeah, I mean that's if you look at it, that's kind of how it is compared to Christianity, because sure, we worship him, but it's not like we're slavishly devoted to him, right? There's other things going on in life.
See, in
right?
Mormonism, but pretends again, the world is 8 years old and needs baptism.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the baptism of the world, was the Noah's flood. That's how Mormons interpret it.
Oh boy.
I think if to
Oh
go
boy
back
is right.
to Black
Yeah.
Priesthood's comment about the curse of Cain, is that unique to Mormonism? Because I'm familiar with the
No.
curse of Ham, which is more biblical, because Ham is said to have been the forefather of the peoples of Africa, who have darker skin. There's some, and I'm out on a limb here, so I don't know the particulars, but there's some Christian traditions that allege that Ham was cursed. That's why the peoples of Africa have dark skin. But for Mormonism, the dark skin began with Cain.
Yes.
Okay, so then how does that make the leap to the curse of the Lamanites?
It doesn't. It's not.
It
I don't think it's
doesn't.
connected. It's different. It's another curse.
Whole different curse. One is black skin,
boy.
one's dark skin.
Okay.
Well, that's the thing with Mormonism. Everybody's cursed somehow. This is really bad fan fiction writing. Like, there's all these random curses. Nobody knows how they got there.
And what does Ben Vogel always says? Like, was very entrenched in magical worldview, right? So that's where it all comes from. This cursing, the dusting of the shoes to curse whole cities. In Mormonism is a magical worldview. Really.
But if
All
you're
about
relying,
faith,
if you,
if you look at it, what Dave was talking about, it just seems to be all about hate.
That's all I see. Yeah.
The Book of Mormon talks about about hate, by the way, and about looks and the importance of being delightsome in appearance. So of all the curses that they could have put on people, they call a dark skin a curse. There's, I don't know what the figures are, but there's probably more dark skinned people in this world than there are white skinned people.
Yep.
So what are
They
we?
could have said people that change their glasses colors are cursed.
Yeah, like Randy.
But I can deny it. I can deny it.
If you guys say magical worldview, that means that if we apply that kind of logic to whether it's fiction or not to the Book of Mormon, then we have to read the Book of Mormon mythopoetically.
Yep.
And mythopoetically, dark skin has nothing to do with the color of your skin.
Melanin.
It has nothing to do with that. It's none
Well,
of that
that's what they
stuff.
want to claim now. So apologists are saying it's an aura, a dark aura.
But if we get, we have to go back a few hundred years for this. But it's a tradition that alleges that people who are sinful have putrid skin, which goes gangrenous, which to everyone else who looks on gangrenous skin, it looks black, and it's dried out, it's flaking. That's the original, I guess. That's the older interpretation. So if we're going to interpret the Book of Mormon as magical, then we have to kind of lean on that just a bit, which means that the White and Delisum and all those comments are of their time. The real issue is not that they are in the book. The real issue for me, and it's just me alone, my interpretation here, is how it was applied later. Like
Exactly.
Brigham Young was a
Yeah.
racist cunt,
Oh,
and there's
man.
no way around that.
Yeah. Bruce McConkie auch, and he's not too
McConkie
long
auch,
ago.
Yeah, the
David O.
scriptures provide a fertile ground for racism.
Exactly.
You know,
Mark
I used to
Peterson?
think very
Yeah.
highly of David O. McKay, because I read a few, I didn't realize at the time, but favorable biographies on him. And then, well, one was an essay, and the other one was an actual biography that was faith affirming, which I didn't understand at the time. And then I read about him through some magazine article years ago. Basically, it was a tell-all on him and his sexual predilections. I mean, he was somewhat of a nutbag. So, I'm like, oh, okay. So some of his weird comments about race now make sense. He was a racist, and he was using his liturgy as a fundamental backbone in defense of his racism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that only, just like Gene said, that only works if it's something that is embedded within the tradition of the church. So there's also, if that's true, then there's also no way to get out of the realization or the truth that the Mormon church is racist.
Correct.
Even
Well, and the
if-
thing about that, I was going to jump in quick and say the thing about that is like racism and Mormonism is like really, I mean, racism in general is stupid, but like racism and Mormonism is very vain because like we see today, like racism even back then was all based about how one looks, and
Exactly.
how one looks is how righteous they are.
Yeah.
Right. As opposed to like other countries and other cultures, like again, Hindus and Muslims. Well, you know, there's a lot to heal there, but there's been constant warfare for hundreds of years. So, you know, yeah, it kind of makes sense as to why there's some bad blood, right? Same thing with China and Japan because of the rape of Nanking in World War II. Yeah, I mean, you know, we don't want to live in a racist world, but when you have very extreme warfare in human history, there's going to be groups of people that have bad blood. So there's at least somewhat of a basis for it. But in Mormonism, it's just like, oh, we're white and we're delightsome and we're good looking and the Lamanites are not. You know what I mean? But they could be someday if they're righteous enough. You know what I
Without
mean?
understanding
That's the whole reason of the Book of Mormon, is to say, you know, how can there be these mounds that were built by a great civilization, and now the dark-skinned Lamanite natives they must have been a warlike people and killed all the smart white people that used to exist, and those smart white people must have been the lost tribes of Israel, and they had
Gene,
mound builder myth things.
It was the
And
elves.
so that's what
We
Joseph
talked
Smith was
about
trying
this.
to
It
do,
was the
explain how
elves.
that happened.
Gene, it was the elves. I don't know why I have to keep telling you about this.
I think it's a deep, honestly, like also envious of other people, because even Brigham Young didn't want a race mix. But wouldn't you think, you know, like we know mixed kids get lighter. It's just genetics, right? So then you would have an interest actually in mixed marriages. But he was like, no, that's, you know, death on the spot. Because, and he also reasoned, the black men take away our white women. There's envious, there's fear of the foreign. There is like this, like, I want to be special so bad because there's nothing special about me. I guess it's the skin. Because if you're especially talented or especially smart, you don't need to define yourself about your skin.
Yeah, that vanity is probably to this day. It's like it's still racist, but it's moved more into the breast implants and Botox form of vanity now.
Yeah,
right.
I forget which comment it was that was on the screen, but and then of course Jessica saying it that once different peoples from different genetic lineage mix, the predominance of lighter skin tones is more frequent. So we're assuming that these people who believe that the ancient peoples were white and delightsome. So what if the
Sorry about that.
What if the I'm going to do something really silly here. What if the elves and the Atlanteans and the Diviana and the Raphaim and the Nephilim, what if they weren't white at all? What if they were all very dark skinned?
Well, even the concept of that white skin is very new. Like Europeans hated each other and they were all white.
And so what's very interesting to me is many people forget that the Europeans who lived on the Baltic coast, they had dark skin.
Yeah. Like
genetically, they had dark skin and coarse hair. They lived on the northern coast of Europe, but they were very much genetically European. They probably had European features, but they were, and you look at the mixing between the aristocratic families between Central Europe and Northern Europe. There's no real break. There's no wall there. The peoples intermixed without difficulty. And then you'd go to of Africa. Same thing.
Yeah,
the
that's
peoples
like the
mixed
Italians and
without
Moors.
question.
Yeah.
So
you're right, Alex.
And then I've been told, and I don't know if this is true, but that the Romans, it's the Etruscans and the Latins and the early Romans, they had darker skin as well.
Yep.
It wasn't until there was more migration from Central Europe into
Italy.
Italy.
It's also what I understand recently. It's this conception we get from Hollywood, right? All the Roman movies are white people, so we assume people in Rome were all white, but it's just Hollywood. That's actually not true. A lot of African rulers, they were very diverse in Rome, but it's not what the Hollywood depiction is for a long time.
Or
had Elizabeth Taylor playing Cleopatra, and we know Cleopatra was black, and had her playing Cleopatra.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they were already traveling continents, so it's not like they didn't have any interactions. And African kings were in Rome, so the silliness of thinking this was all white people, it's just a white view.
I mean, the Egyptian army was even in Rome because of the whole Mark Antony and Cleopatra and all that jazz. Like, he went and helped her get power, and then on the flip side, she sent soldiers to back him up too.
Exactly.
Right. So there's like naval ships floating around.
We do need to say that Cleopatra and Mark Antony lost to Augustus.
Well, but I mean, they were still there. They died together. White people and black people died together to Augustus Caesar.
If only Joan Collins had been cast as Cleopatra, I think that movie would have turned out a lot better. It probably would have been completed on time and under budget instead of the spectacle it became.
I feel like I love that so much, Alex. I'll take that one step further. I feel like if Cleopatra didn't marry Mark Antony, but instead went after Ben-Hur, Augustus Caesar would have lost.
Well, that's interesting because Ben-Hur didn't exist.
I know, that's the joke. That's the joke. Very good. Very good, now. Alex.
Thank you.
And it's time for me to get my dinner ready. I'm already starting on some corn.
I'm leaving some.
I dropped the link in the chat, and so if people want to come to the after show, you can come to the after show and see who's talking. All right. Thanks everybody for watching.
All right.
And
all right. You all
see
take
you next
care.
time.